quorum. Welcome. This meeting is being webcast live and recorded. The recording and webcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have a motion to adopt the board meeting agenda for April 9, 2025? A motion to adopt. Second. Roll call. Sandra? Aye. Patty? Aye. Valerie? Aye. And Beth. Reports. High school. We have Emilio Munoz, who will be presenting on the great things happening at Corcoran High. Oh, Donasi, you gonna do it? Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Donati Lindo, not Emilio, and I'm here to bring the high school report. First up is the sports team update. Boys tennis is 9-1 in league with one match to go. They are currently tied for first in league. They play tomorrow. It's a home match against Strathmore, and it is their senior night. Baseball is 1-0 in league after beating Granite Hills 10-0. Two pitchers combined to throw a no-hitter in that game. The overall record for baseball is 10-3. Softball also started league play with a win over Granite Hills. Their next game is against Lindsay tomorrow at home. Their overall record is 85. And then track is off to a great start by placing first for boys in their first league meet and by placing second for girls. They are currently participating in their second league match today in Orange Grove. Swim has been competitive in league with a victory over Granite Hills. They just completed last weekend at Sierra Pacific Invitational that had 24 schools participating in that meet. Old news is our blood drive was a huge success. There was a total of 60 pints donated. That translates to a lot of lives saved, so nice. We are currently having a dress-up week that encourages anti-peer pressure. Today was dress your best. The motto was being drip, don't sip. That's why I'm wearing a suit today. This Friday, CJUSD will hold a career day. Individuals of different professions will be in classes. This is a great opportunity for students to get an idea of their future professions. And then last week, a JG Boswell Scholarship interviews took place, and the winners were Araceli Gonzalez and Ashley Ramirez. Once we come back from spring break, CJUSD will hold its annual art show, and it will be hosted in the TLC. It will be open to the community for observation, so go and take a look at the wonderful art. Last week, FFA members attended their annual state conference. It looked pretty fun. It looked like a concert, so it looked cool. And then last week, career technical classes had competitions in which 16 students advanced for state. It will take place tomorrow. It's going to be in Ontario, California, not Canada. So wish them the best of luck and thank you.
Thank you. The superintendent report?
Yes, good evening, board presidents, listeners, members of the board, community, and staff who are watching. I just want to just chime in again on the Boswell Scholarship. We had two amazing students. We celebrated on Monday. I want to thank the Corcoran Community Foundation and the Boswell family for that work. I was actually bragging about that to a colleague from another district today about how our community gives back and gives 2 full ride scholarships to students, right? And so those 2 young ladies are amazing. They are, like many of our students from this class, have enough credits to graduate twice from high school. So they have like over 500 credits, which is amazing. They're going to get their AAs, I believe, their associate's degrees. And they have the difficult task. I mean, I wish I had this problem when I was in high school, of deciding between UCLA and UC Berkeley. And so 2 prominent, not just state prominent universities, but national and international prominent universities. So, you know, hats off to those 2, but also even all of our students at Tonosine and everybody else who is doing amazing work to get, you know, to the next level, right? I want to thank Ms. Mendoza today. We had, and some of our students here were in that group, the LCAP Student Advisory. So I met with, you know, she met with the students and I was kind of a fly on the wall and just listening, but they had some really good information and feedback. So I'm not going to steal the thunder when she gives that report, but, you know, just know that we have students who do care about the community and care what's going on in the district. And so my hats off again to them because they're advocates for learning even now. So it's amazing. Imagine what they're going to be 10, 15, 20 years from now. I also want to just congratulate our middle school team. The reason why they're not here tonight is because we have the track invitational going on, 25 schools. And so I went out there for a little bit, a lot nicer than last year. Last year it was like a lot warmer. And then the year before that, I heard it was raining. So it's a good thing that, we had some good weather. And I was talking to different school parents and colleagues that I've known throughout the years. And their comment was that this is probably the best invitational out of all of them they go to. They were just in awe of the scoreboard, in awe of just the facilities themselves. I really thanked our grounds folks because they make that. And I always tell them, like, you guys have pride in our facilities and the show. So, just thank them. And then I also want to just again we're gonna have a presentation tonight by Mr. Larkin around the graduation. So stay tuned. Please give us feedback on that. It's very important as we kind of move forward with that work and knowing that we're focused on the student and their experience there, but at the same time we also want to listen to everyone, right? And then two more things. One is we are currently working on some work around students with behavior. So we know that in the younger grades, starting in kinder, we have some students that have experienced some really negative behaviors, and I just want to call that out that we know that that's there. And so we're trying to create a program that is obviously legal, but at the same time supporting the students to get them back on track. When they're young, like K1, it's hard. You can't just identify that student. There's a lot of different variables to that, right? So the school's done an amazing job of trying to keep that there, but we had to kind of work on a system. So we've been working on that. So just know that that's coming. And those two schools are working together, Bret Harte and Fremont, to, work. They're going to start that work soon to be able to have something in place. Look for a presentation in the near future of that. And then last but not least, it's, spring is here, spring break is coming. So please staff, rest, enjoy your family, your friends. And then, when we come back, families, have your students ready to go. They're going to want to rest a lot because they've been studying really hard, but continue to encourage them to read, get on and online and do some math on Khan Academy, whatever the case may be. And then when we get back, we just have a short amount of time. We have a lot of different folks fundraising. So I would encourage folks, that they're supporting in addition above and beyond what the district already supports. So the district supports those entities tremendously, right? Just like our music program today at Fremont, we had, I don't know, well over 100 families there. How many?
326 people.
326 people, there you go, right? So looking at the numbers, and the students sounded great, and that's to your testament as a board, putting that investment forward, right? And so I just want the parents and families to know that those additional funds are for above and beyond that. And so we want to be able to, as well in the community, support those, whether it's Sober Grad or Cheer and all these other, please be out there, support them as well. So with that, that's all I have. I hope you all have a good spring break, and yield my time to Madam President Cisneros.
Board of Trustees.
I attended that huge swim event at SP. It was amazing how many students were there. I thought it was really cool though that we got to see our advisor there, and he was taking notes, and he was saying like, hey, this is what other schools have, Corker needs this. So I did appreciate that he was doing that. I also attended the track meet today. It's very well attended. I was very blessed to find some shade. But I would like to see the scoreboard being used for all of the heats that are going on, all the events, and maybe showing the totals of every heat.
All right, thank you. I did attend the track meet today too, and we were able to take some snapshots because one of my nephews actually placed, so it was really nice, and so I appreciated that. It was a little bit warm. Kiwanis Corcoran also volunteered to help out there, so it's really nice that multiple organizations are helping out through the different events that we do have in the community. Then this morning I was at the John C. Fremont event, and it was really, really nice. I love the families feel involved. We are bringing the families in, and then
Mr. Fuentes continues to tell the kids to wait for the parents, and the parents wait back to the kids, and then that little cheer that they did. So it's part of being a small community that we get to do that. So I do appreciate those events that we do have. That's all I got. Thank you. Corcoran Faculty Association.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dulce.
Yeah, okay, so California School Employees Association.
Nobody. Jump here. What? Huh? Oh, oh, my bad. Cut right up. Allowed to talk.
Hello.
Oh, that's a.
Hear me? Yes, no?
Go ahead.
Can you all hear me? Yes? Okay. Having some technical difficulties tonight. Okay, I really don't have a report for you all, in a sense, but I do want to acknowledge and appreciate the district's recognition with all of the escalated behaviors and everything that has been going on within the lower grades of our elementary school sites. I know it's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to take all of us to try and address that, and to get something in place to better assist the students and also the staff. So we do appreciate the district acknowledging that. We are excited for spring break. The countdown has been long ever since our last break, so we're ready for that. Ready to recharge, refresh, and come back, strong to finish out the school year. So thank you for your time, everyone. And boy, it's getting warm, so we got to get that sunblock out. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. Any presentations? We do have a presentation this evening for Mr. Larkin. Mr. Larkin.
You guys have a copy of the presentation already?
Yes, yes.
I'll be on your phone, but just in case. Just a second, I'll leave it on. All right. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. All right, before we dig too deep into this, I'm just going to share a quick story with you, and I'm going to own an oversight mistake on my part. So on Monday, I went into the ASB class, and I went in to get a little bit of feedback and talk to the students a little bit about this graduation process. And I was telling them I need some help from you guys. And so I said, I looked to my left and I go, okay, so you're the senior class president, right? Towards this young lady. And she looked at me and says, no. And so I look at this other young lady and I go, okay, well, it's you. And her eyes got real big and she shook her head no. And the kids, the students, they say, Larkin, it's Emilio. And I turn and I look at this young man right here to my right, and we lock eyes, and he's going to look like, come on. And so what I want to do before we get into this thing is I just want to publicly apologize and say I'm sorry, Mr. Munoz, for not knowing on April 7th of the school year who our senior class president is. So I wanted to own that publicly and apologize to Emilio before we get into this thing. So on my left, senior class president, class of 2025, Emilio Munoz. On my right, Haley Price is the president of our school site council. And of course, me, Mr. Larkin, the high school principal. Okay, so a short slide deck. We hear the community with respect to some desires with the way that the structure of the graduation ceremony goes at Corcoran High School. And so we want to honor that and put together basically some guiding principles and strategy for receiving that feedback, and then taking that, working with a work group, and coming up with a design and then sharing that back and working with the board as well. So the guiding principles on the cover slide here: number one, transparency builds trust, right? So nobody at Corcoran High School is looking to put their thumb on the scale with respect to this process. We want it to be open. We want to be responsive to the will of the community, right? The second piece is fairness means every voice counts, right? So some folks are very comfortable standing up here and speaking. Other folks may not speak English. They may not have access to this forum. Maybe there's others out there that are just kind of in the shadows, and we want to make sure that we reach out to all voices and hear everybody's perspective on it across the board. So there's that piece. The third piece down, we want to strike a balance, right, between tradition and embracing change, right? As things progress, times become more modernized. We want to be cognizant of that piece. But we also want to recognize the fact that Corcoran High School has been around for over 100 years, and there are traditions that we want to honor. The last piece is that we want to design for the future, right? So we want some level of sustainability. What we absolutely want to avoid is creating an increased level of risk by changing things too often, too quickly, right? So there are a lot of considerations that go into a public event like this with security and grounds and IT personnel and all these things that go on. And what we don't want to do is create an environment that's haphazard and we're just going to roll the ball out and have a homecoming football game, right? We just don't do that. We want to plan, we want to be strategic, and we want to be sustainable. So those are our guiding principles going into this process. So we're looking at 3 phases, right? The first phase is we're looking at a survey. We're just going to learn from all of our stakeholders around Corcoran High School. That's the students, that's the staff, and that's the parents at large, right? So we'll put out a survey. We'll learn over spring break what the expectations are, and then we'll move on to phase 2. On phase 2, we're going to put together a stakeholder group. I'll provide all the data to the stakeholder group, and we'll have an analysis phase, right? So we'll take a look at what the survey results yield, and then we'll begin the design process from there. The third phase is to complete the design and then to share that out publicly, right? And every step of the way, the plan is to come back and give you guys updates. Like the first guiding principle, transparency is key, okay? So that's the 3 phases. Just real quickly, the first phase, we're looking at a platform called Parsec Real. Parsec Real is a software platform. It uses AI. Basically, it's a QR code or a link. Send it out to everybody that wants to engage in the survey. You can provide a video, you can provide audio, or you can just type text into it. Any one of those 3 mediums is fine. It'll boil it all down. It'll capture it, give us pie charts, give us all kinds of heat maps and things, and we can take a look at it from that perspective. We'll share that survey data with, go ahead and slide. I'm sorry. I almost poked you in the ear. See that? So the next slide there. Oh, that's good. That's good. So phase 2 analysis, stakeholder work group. I was talking to the ASB group on Monday about what would be a reasonable composition for the stakeholder work group. We're looking at about 15, 17 maybe members, kind of divided by 3, maybe 5, 6, 7 kids, 3 students, students, 4 or 5 maybe parents from different groups, and then we need to bring in a couple of staff members. We have to have IT, I've got to have security, MOT, grounds, those types of folks, because there are certain limiting factors that they are aware of that I don't want to overstep. And just to give you an example, things like, I don't know, the distance that a Bluetooth wireless microphone can reach from that press box out into the field. Like, we have to know that, we have to test that. We can't have that fail on us in the middle of the ceremony. So things like that, I want to bring those folks in as well. Next slide, please. And basically the end result is to come forward with a design. The goal is to keep that beautiful graduation ceremony going. I've been at 20 of them consecutively. This will be my 21st. And it's always been a really beautiful ceremony, but with the times, I think we recognize that we want to be modern as well. So, and responsive to the will of the community. There's a picture from last year. We had a really beautiful ceremony, and the intent is to have the same thing this year. But if there are a few adjustments to make it even better, absolutely, we're all on board with that. So that's the plan moving forward. And I want to share this last piece with you. Total capacity of the stadium, being fully transparent, right, is 2,519 folks can fit into the Corcoran Community Stadium. Max capacity is 1,642 on the home side, a little over 800 on the visitor side. And I share that not just because of the numbers, to be completely transparent on that piece, but also as an example of some of the limiting factors that we have to take into consideration, right? So what we don't want to do is to get into this like year over year one-upsmanship, right? We want to create a sustainable design model that's good for the community, good for our students. But we don't want to get into the slippery slope where, hey, this year we did this, so next year, we're going to do that. And just to be kind of silly and humorous to round this piece out is, now we're getting into that thing where, okay, we're going to bring in a plane, we're going to have a helicopter and yachts and things like, you don't want to do that, right? This is a classy ceremony for the city of Corcoran and for our students who are graduating. It's a very important moment in their lives, and we want to be cognizant of that. We want to recognize that. So that's what I have. If you have any questions for me, I'm willing to field any questions that you might have. And if you are tired of hearing from me, that's fine as well. I brought 2 students here that you can ask them questions as well. They'd be more than happy to answer anything that you might have. Haley Price and Emilio Munoz. Okay.
What is the size of the graduating class?
Just under 200 currently, so that's a great question. And what I've told the seniors, class of 25, you guys are creating me a great problem. Right, so typically we run about 165, 175-ish in the graduating class over the last, let's say, 5 years, roughly. This year, we're closer to 200, so that does affect the situation, particularly with the number of tickets.
That was my next question. About how many tickets will the seniors receive?
Well, that all has to be decided through this process, right? So we have the number of maximum occupancy, but let's say that the process yields a very strong desire to open up the visitor side, or maybe it's the opposite, don't open the visitor side. So that swings things. But to your question, to be a little bit more specific, I don't foresee, and I'm crunching the numbers, you're looking at approximately 10 tickets. Yeah, don't quote me on that. It might be 9, right? But opening up the other side, you're looking at a swing of a couple of tickets per student, depending on the number of grads, et cetera. But don't anticipate any kind of swings like, hey, we're going to go from 8 to 20 or to 10 to 15. We're looking at a couple of tickets potentially, because it is going to be about 200 graduates, maybe 195-ish, I think, right now.
Okay, so then my next question to that is, if we did open the visitor side, how would we know what parents to put in the sign?
That's a great question. So the way we structure graduation tickets, they come in 2 colors. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but we do blue and gold tickets, right? And that is for rain, excuse me, I was going to say weather and rain in one word, a rain weather event, right? So that has happened. I don't know, maybe it was 10 years ago, roughly. I think Mr. Jant was principal at the time. We had a bit of a rain event. We were able to get through it. But if there is a rain event at graduation, the color tickets delineate whether or not it's a stadium only or stadium plus main gym. So if we have an issue with the main gym, with the rain event, we put everybody in the main gym, was approximately about 1,000 people. Then you have to kind of limit those numbers. So the blue gets, I can't remember what colors, we switch it every year. But one ticket is access to both. The other color ticket is access to stadium only, right? So my point being with all of that is that we can do something with those colors and say, hey, if we're going to open up the visitor side, then gold tickets go to that side, blue tickets to this side. The numbers are there with the order of the tickets.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Not a question, but just a statement or a comment, because, to an outsider not really knowing what's happening, we could just say, open it up and let first come, first serve, right? But it would create chaos. It would definitely be something that we may have people there since 3 o'clock, and then the parents who can't get off of work or have issues could be standing, and that's the information we were sharing with the board. But I do like the idea that, if we do open it up, you do have different color tickets. Maybe we could give the 10 that are normally given out, or 9, just so that they can bring their immediate family, and then the yellow ones would be for extended family, so everybody can get an opportunity. So I do appreciate it. It seems like so much work for something as simple as just opening up a thing, but it's not that simple, and that's what we fail to see sometimes when we request something. We think it's easier said than done, right? Open the door and that's it, but there's a lot of things that happen when you do that, and having MOT involved in the IT and the security, because we wondered, I don't know how many people are there, so they're sitting now, but then when the graduation ends, everybody will rush to the stadium or to the grass area, and then how do we control that mob? So I really do appreciate the fact that you take time to really look into it versus just, okay, make it happen.
Right. I appreciate that, and it's the same as our other public events too, like football and senior awards assemblies and things there. It's 2025, it's a little bit different from when we all kind of grew up. It's a little bit more complicated at times, but we put our best foot forward on behalf of the children in the community. We're real excited whichever way it goes. We'll turn something out that'll be very memorable.
And thank you for the president and everybody else.
2 presidents.
2 presidents for taking the time to do that, because I know that you guys are very, very involved as well. So thank you.
Have you guys considered that extra 877 people being on the field after graduation?
Yeah, so I think that that's definitely something to consider as far as like security is concerned. Also with the way that we attempt to kind of keep folks in the stands until the conclusion of the ceremony. That's always kind of a little bit of a touchy spot as well. But yeah, I think that we probably, if we do something along the lines of opening that visitor side up, that we probably would look at spacing the chairs and the students out a little bit more so that rather than folks coming straight down to the 50-yard line trying to get to their son or daughter, that it's a little bit more opened up and people are kind of coming out between the 30s, maybe a little bit. But yeah, I think that's a good point. And even to take it a step further, if we do it, we just have to be a little bit on our toes with respect to security and the movement of foot traffic to that side. So I'm not saying it's unreasonable. I'm just saying we have to be a little bit careful and plan it out strategically.
And good parking.
Parking, that would be an interesting situation. We do have that property across the street. That might be a possibility. We can look into that with Vince and his team. And we always block off. I mean, you have to take into consideration things like handicap, disability parking, and folks getting into the stadium from that regard. Yeah, I think we probably have to leverage the use of some of that area around the ground shop over there to get some of the vehicles in and out. It just, I mean, if you were at the basketball game against Wenatchee, the parking kind of started extending out to the grass that night. So, we'll keep an eye on that as well.
Thank you. I'm very eager to see what the students' responses are because I'm sure they want to form that 25. I think that's something that's very important to them. Being a Corcoran grad myself, I like tradition.
Yeah, appreciate the input there. And I think that number's gone back. I said to somebody that graduated here in the late 80s, that it was in the 80s, they were arguing that it was before that. So I don't know, that's before my time in Corcoran, but it's been around since I can remember. This is my 21st month. So okay.
Yeah, I just real quick want to thank the Principal Larkin and also the students, because when I went to talk to them, the first thing they said was we need to get students on board. So they're very student centered, and that comes out in the LCAP survey, all those things. So as we go through this process, like you said, it's going to be very transparent. This will be that data will be shared here. Thankfully have Ms. Botil here that will more likely probably do something in the paper so people understand the survey. That the one thing I want to talk about the survey, that tool is also accessible in other languages. So when they access it, they're if the parents speak Spanish or Farsi, Arabic, whatever the case may be, they'll be able to actually access that. So we'll be able to have that as well. So it'll open up. So thank you so much. You guys are amazing, and it's great to see our students here.
Thank you.
Public comment. Members of the public wanting to provide public comments on items listed on tonight's agenda, we recommend you fill out a public comment form on the table on the form and hand it to Mr. Pacina, Superintendent Pacina, before the item comes up on the agenda. You complete a separate form for each agenda item you want to comment on. Members of the public providing public comment, please use a microphone and a podium in the middle of the boardroom. Do we have any? No. Action items, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
A motion to approve.
I will second. Any discussion? Roll call. Sandra? Aye. Patty? Aye. Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Administration. Appointment of superintendent as secretary to the board of trustees. Do you have anything on this item?
Yeah, this is just a formality to, back in December, there was the one, to have Mr. Jet now to go ahead and, bring that. So it's just basically just an approval, and that's it.
Okay. Last motion. Sandra motion. I'll second. Second. Any discussion? Sandra, roll call. Sandra? Aye. Patty? Aye. Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Consider the approval of contract for 2025-26 school year agreement with Kings County Office of Education, new teacher induction program.
I can take those.
You want to do that?
So this is the NTI new teacher induction program that we do every year with KCOE, and so they provide support to our new teachers through different trainings and master teachers, etc. So it's something we've done probably for quite some time. I don't know how many years, but I'm thinking for a long time. So it's just to provide the support for them.
Very good. Do I have a motion? I move.
A second.
Any discussions? Roll call, Sandra? Aye. Patty? Aye. Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Consider the approval of contract for 25-26 school year agreement with Tulare County's Office of Education, Library Media Services.
Yeah, so this is a contract that we had this year with TCOE, and the reason why it's with TCOE is because they provide the service for both Tulare County and Kings County. So in our two counties, we do share a lot of the, same resources. And so what this is doing is providing support to our librarians and giving them professional learning. So it's been well received. And what they're in the process of doing is actually designing new libraries. So not just the number of books, but how students access it, is it appropriate as far as levels? And so it helps them to understand those pieces and how they organize a library. So it's been very favorable. So that's what this one is.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call, Sandra? Aye. Patty? Aye. Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Consider the approval of contract for 25-26 school year agreement with Tulare County Office of Education, the Library Media Service Professional Development.
And this is a similar, it's just providing, it's one's professional development and the other one is also just the services to acquire like some of their like books online and those type of things. So that's what we had before. This is the actual professional development that we're doing. So they go hand in hand. We do this one every year as well. Yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Sandra? Aye. Patty? Aye. Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Consider the approval of contract for 25-26 school year agreement with Seesaw Learning, Inc. Christina?
Yeah, this is a software tool that teachers use and this is something that they wanted to have again. So we're doing it, I believe, for one more year and then we'll see what the response is after that. So just something again that we normally use on a regular basis.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call, Sandra? Aye. Patty?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Consider the approval for a declaration of need for fully qualified educators for 25-26 school year. Mrs. Moreno?
This is actually something that's done with the Commission on Teacher Credentialing that we bring every year. Gives the district the opportunity to need in applying for fully qualified educators in case they don't meet the requirement or they're going through the educational portion of the requirement. So it allows us to be able to apply for emergency permits, or if we have a change within the year and we need to move someone into a different classroom or take up that classroom, then the credential processing is just determining whether or not they meet that requirement. So by filling out the declaration of need, it allows us to be able to go ahead and fulfill that. So.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
I second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Sandra? Aye. Patty?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Disclosure of Corporate Faculty Association initial proposal for 25-26 collective bargaining unit negotiations. The board is in receipt of the Faculty Association initial proposal of the collective bargaining negotiations. Consider the approval of Corcoran Joint Unified School District's initial proposal for 25-26 collective bargaining units. Mr. Pacina?
Yes, this is, the negotiations for this upcoming school year, the actual whole CBA opener is not until the following year. So we're just mirroring the same language that CFA is doing, and then we'll work with them on that.
Okay. Do I have an approval? I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call. Sandra? Aye. Patty?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Resolutions. Consider the approval of resolution 1396, use of new construction grants. Ms. Alvarez? Maybe.
So we have an application in with the state to get reimbursement for funding on the high school modular and shade structure project that happened. The funding that we have available is not high enough to fully fund that project. So the additional funding we have at the K-6 level as opposed to the 9-12 can be moved over to the 9-12 side to allow for that additional funding. So the resolution included would allow for that funding to be moved.
Do I have a motion?
I motion approve. I'll second.
Just for, who did the first? Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Any discussions? Roll call, Sandra?
Aye.
Patty? Aye. Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Business, consider the approval of stadium light replacement quote for Corcoran High School. Mr. Rojas?
Okay, good evening. We just want you to approve that, we have, quite a bit of lights out at the football and baseball stadium. So this is just to replace whatever is currently out, not to replace everything. Ideally, that's what we want to do, but due to the timing of graduation coming up, we can only do what's out at the moment, so, and it takes about, after if it's approved, it takes about 3 weeks for them to get materials and then schedule them installation, so waiting for approval hopefully, and then from there I can move forward and then schedule the next process.
Do I have a motion to
I
approve?
motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussions? Okay, roll call, Sandra?
Aye.
Patty?
Aye.
Valerie?
Aye.
And I. Future agenda items.
I would like to,
discuss the possibility of having a support the wrestling team in Corcoran. There's students at the school and I would just like to have that on the agenda to discuss, please.
Okay, thank you.
Identify closed section topics. The following topics have been identified for closed session: conference with labor negotiations, conference with real property negotiator, and personal matters. Any public comments on closed session items? We go ahead and adjourn to closed session at 6:38.